welcome to another Slightly Redneck video. I'm going to be doing some fishing today. It's middle of June, it's hot as can be, and I'm on vacation, so what better way than to spend it out here at the creek. I'm going to be wade fishing in a nice Ozarks stream today, and primarily going to be using a Texas rig. So I'm going to spend this video talking about how to Texas rig and how to use it, and hopefully show you how to catch some fish on it as well, so stay tuned. Start off with talking about how to rig up a Texas rig. So you're going to start off with a hook that's an offset hook. It's got the bend in the hook right here, and this is a 1/0 hook, but you can use whatever hook you want. I'm going to be using a worm. It works the same way with grubs. This is the bottom of the worm, the flat side of the worm. We want that facing the hook whenever we insert it. So you're going to stick the hook in the worm until it gets to the bend in the hook, push it out of the worm, push that all the way up to the top to where it should be sitting just like that. Let me turn this over. Now you want to put this hook through the worm. You need to bend it just a little bit so that it fits straight. And you'll kind of figure this out. A little bit of practice will give you what you need to do. Just bend it a little bit, push it forward, insert the hook right at the base of the worm, and run it up. Now ideally what you want to have is a fairly straight worm, and push it until you can just feel the hook. You can't see it, but I can kind of feel it when I run my finger across there. And that's where I'm going to leave it. This has got 1/8 ounce. Let me get over here. There we go. A 1/8 ounce bullet weight on it. You know, if you're fishing really fast water, you may need a heavier weight. But this works really well in these little Ozark streams around here. And you can use whatever kind, copper, brass, whatever. So that's pretty much rigging it up. Whether you're rigging a grub or a worm, that's how it's going to work. So let's talk a little bit about how to fish it. Alright, so the way you fish a Texas rig is you're going to cast it out. You're going to let it sink to the bottom, sit there for a second, take in your slack, and then just kind of bounce the line just a little bit. The idea is you want it to get it to bounce on the bottom of the creek. Not huge jumps, just little bounces. So you bounce a little bit, you let it set, bounce a little bit, let it set, and you wait for the fish to bite. Now when the fish bite, a lot of times it'll be a tap, 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 tap. Don't get anxious. You got to be patient, let the fish take it. When they start to take off with that, set the hook. And this is a real good spot to fish right here. Where this bait really excels is in this brush over here. You can see you've got a little bit of a current coming down. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it dumps out into this little bit of a hole right here. This is a pretty small creek, so this is a pretty good hole for this creek. And you've got a bunch of brush over there and root wads. So I'm going to try casting up into that, and we'll see if we can catch something here. Get right up in the brush where you think you're going to get hung up. Now let it sink to the bottom. Take my slack up. Bounce it a little bit, let it sit. Oh, there's a fish biting. Oh, he's got it. Oh, I missed him. Alright, so I'm going to be using this grub. If you remember Texas rigging, same way. Just hook it right through there, push it up on that ledge, and hopefully I can get this in camera. Put that hook all the way through until you can just kind of feel it with your fingertips right there. There we go. Got that a little crooked. Let me rearrange that. There we go. I can feel the hook if I run my finger down, but it's not real exposed. And don't worry, you'll still catch fish. Now, this is a crawdad imitator, so we're going to work it like a crawdad, which means bounce it on the bottom, drag it real slow, bounce it on the bottom. That's how crawdads move. So. Alright, it's another good spot. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's a couple of logs underwater here, ripples rolling over them. So I'm going to cast up alongside the logs, try to get it to run right down the edge of the log there, see if we get something over there. What you're looking for is that break in the current, something for them to kind of hide behind. They're an ambush. Smallmouth is what I'm primarily fishing for. They're an ambush predator, so you're looking for breaks in the current and structure. Doesn't look like there's anything in there. Let's try the other side of this other log. And usually the downstream side of the log is going to be the best. Oh, there he is. He must not be very big though. Come on, eat it, eat it. Oh, and he got me hung up on the log. This is something pretty cool right here. Show you how fish hold in certain spots. I don't know if we'll be able to see them on camera or not, but you can kind of see this current coming down through here, and you've got this log sitting right along here, and you've got all these fish. Now, none of them are big. The big ones have already swam away, but they're all holding on the back side of this log. These are the places that you want to be able to cast into. Now, we're too close to be able to cast into them here, but I'm going to try to stick this camera underwater and see if we can get a view of them. So these are the logs that I was fishing from across the creek in the previous section of video. You can see why. If you look underneath this log, you've got a shadow that the log is casting, and all these smallmouth holding in that shadow. Now if I go over the top of this log, look in between the two logs there where the current really breaks, where there's a pretty deep hole, you're going to see that's where the majority of the fish hold. There's quite a few smallmouth bass holding there, probably 8 or 10 of them at least. Lots of other little bait fish and things swimming around. What I really want to show you though is if you move up the log closer to the shore, closer to where all the brush really is, that's really where the bigger fish are going to hold. Now that's not a huge fish back up in there, but still it's the bigger fish in the hole. They're holding up there underneath that log, and those are pretty decent little smallmouths. So that's the trick to fishing a Texas rig, is you want to get up there as close and as much in the brush as you can. That's where you're going to catch your fish. They'll hide under that log, jump out and grab it as it goes by. He's no monster. He's no monster, but he's a fish. You can see, that's a smallmouth. Oh, let me get him off this hook here. All right, so Ozarks smallmouth. This is a tiny one, but you get the idea. This is a species that's it's specific to this creek system that I'm in right here. So nowhere else in the world are this exact species, subspecies of smallmouth found, but pretty much like any other smallmouth. Hard fighting fish for no bigger than he is, really, but he's not a very big one. We'll see if we can catch another one. There he is. Oh, got him. Oh, that's rock bass. Yep, that's a rock bass. Or what they call goggle eye, all hiding up in the brush. Usually there's 4 or 5 of them in the hole. You see, there he is, little rock bass, little goggle eye. So fun little fighting fish, hide up in the brush piles real deep. You can get up on top there and jig them out of there a lot of the time. Cool little fish. There you go, buddy. Take her off. There he goes. Alright, well, I'm on a different creek today, but this looks pretty good right here. This is a little bit of a bigger creek. It's got a little bit more water in it, so I'm hoping that that means that the fish are going to be biting a little bit better. This is a pretty good looking place. We've got the main channel coming down, if you can see, outside of that stump right there, and then inside from that stump on back, it's pretty slow slack water, so bass will like to hold up in there. So I'm going to try fishing all this. I'm going to start up here close, just at the edges of these trees. There he is. I got him. That seems like a little bit of a better fish. He's got some bite to him anyway. Oh yeah, that's a decent bass. That's a decent bass. Not a bad fish right there. So a little bit better. Not a monster, but in these creeks, when they get in these currents here, man, they can fight pretty well. So Texas rigged worm, caught him on that. Let's see if I can catch another one. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. Oh, he got loose. No, he's back. No, he's gone. There he is, got him. That's a nice smallmouth. Nice smallmouth. No wonder he's fighting hard. Woo, look at that. Oh yeah, beautiful fish. Not a huge one, but I don't know, he's probably 8 inches long or so. So, good fighting fish. Lots of fun. Got another one here, about the same size. Caught him right out of this current here beside me. Just casting my line up alongside that log over there and dragging it down through the current. Give you a shot of what it looks like over here. Here's a neat trick you can use if you're down on counts. Come up to a brush pile like this, up against the side of the creek. You'll never be able to cast way back up in there, but you can jig it. I'll show you. Let out some line. Get right up in the mess. Way up in there where you can never cast to. Just let it down now. You want it bouncing around pretty good. Usually some goggle out. Come on, grab it. There he is. Oh, I missed him now. Oh, I can't quite get him. That's a nice rock bass. Nice. Yeah, nice rock bass. I think that's about it for the day, for this video anyway. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know I had a good time making it. It took me a couple of days. Fish weren't biting the first couple of days, but hey, always have a good time fishing whether they're biting or not. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button below if you'd like to see more videos from me, and as always, God bless.